Hello and welcome everyone to a Friday the 13th special. Yes, some of you may be glad that they hear me talking again after the two videos I put out. I was just occupied with a few things I had to do in real life, but also something you will see on Saturday or Sunday. I have a really big surprise in store for you. I hope you will like it. But first of all, I want to say how much I love Dragon Quest Builders 2. I mean, you should have noticed by now that I'm quite fond of this game. But still, there are many things that are either a big oversight by the developers or are implemented just for the purpose to annoy us. Also sorry if I'm going to sound like I'm ranting, but I'm really fed up about a lot of things they have done to this game. So, without further ado, here are 13 things I hate about Dragon Quest Builders 2. I really should think about writing a poem.
Number 13.
Cooking stations, casts, furnaces, stain extractors and magical workbenches have timers that last up to 5 minutes for processing items. This wasn't the case in Dragon Quest Builders 1. And I see it as a redundant time sink that unnecessarily drags on the process of many things you want to create. I think it has only been implemented so that your villagers will have enough stuff to do and don't get bored. But what about the players?
Number 12.
The demo of Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a joke compared to the demo of the first part of the spin-off franchise. First, you go through some tedious fetch quests for nameless monsters that you won't ever see again, except one guy who's quite alright. But please stop giving me kelp. Blech. Then, you will only be able to craft some very basic items. But it's not even possible to build a simple door. I mean, what the heck? At least let us build a house without the need to destroy everything on this island. In my eyes, it's a big waste of potential to get as many people as possible to play this game. And I really don't want to know how many people won't get the game because of the boring demo.
Number 11.
I believe many of you will share this opinion that the inside voice sequences are really elongated due to the abnormal slow text speed. I made a little example of what one of those sequences will look like when it's running 4 times faster than normal. Enjoy! See? Is that so hard to change? Or didn't you even notice it at all, Square Enix? Sometimes I think the developers aren't even playing their own game.
Number 10.
The flow of the story is really slow, and it mainly has to owe it to the many repetitions in the dialogues. People or monsters that give you missions keep on repeating everything at least 2 to 3 times. I often felt like that they think people who play their game are somewhat stupid.
Number 9.
Many things in this game feel like an afterthought, as if the story part of the game was finally finished and they thought of things they could give us additionally. I mean, which is nice, of course, but at least do it in a way that we can fully enjoy it. I'll give you 2 examples. The magnetic blocks recipes are only obtainable inside a hidden cave, and I bet at least 50% of all players don't even know they exist, let alone use them. Also, you can barely do anything with it because the maximum of magnetic blocks you can use is limited to 256 blocks at a time. But we'll get to that later. I still know how I imagined to build a whole floating island, including castle, houses and trees, rising from the ground into the sky. But nope, My dreams dropped like the frame rate of my PS4 when I used all 256 blocks at the same time. I could now go into details how the programmers gave each individual piece of the block's collision calculations instead of just the whole group object. But that would go beyond the scope of what I'm still going to talk about. Next up, the multiplayer part feels kind of separate from the main game. Tell me again why we can't play the story in co-op or play the game in split screen in general. Oh, right. You don't want to turn down the viewing distance of the game, so everyone has the same experience. Like all the Switch players who play with half the frame rate compared to PS4 owners at all times. Also, almost nothing works in multiplayer. Villagers don't do their work, you can't visit the notice board, or get some residents to join you with the help of the residence register.
Number 8.
Did you notice how destroying a line of blocks becomes some sort of reaction test? Because when you move at the same speed all the time, as it should be, not every block will get destroyed. You will still have some blocks where you need to get back to destroy them manually. This wasn't the case in Dragon Quest Builders 1. There, everything worked like clockwork. Digging down? Easy. Destroying blocks in a row? Easy. Destroying 2 blocks next to each other in a row? No problem. Why did they change it in Dragon Quest Builders 2? I wish I knew the answer to that.
Number 7.
Blueprints are great, but they can also be very annoying. Your villagers are not the most reliable workers. When they get hungry, they just leave for multiple in-game hours, even when you removed all the food. Believe me, I've tried it. They also have problems with destroying earth blocks. Maybe they don't want to get their hands dirty. Oh, poor villagers. Or everything just comes to a total stop. They don't do anything at all. Because you missed one single block somewhere. Reasonable.
Number 6.
Ah, the ship captain. Hey, I'm finished on this explorer's shore. Let's go to the next. Wait, where are we going? The next one is just over there.
Please. She's right there.
Thank you for bringing me back to the Isle of Awakening, I guess? Let's see what the developer has to say about this. Yeah, going from island to island is not part of the game. You always need to return back to your home island. Why? Because I said so. That's why. Oh, and resetting or reloading an island is also not possible. Please go back to your home island and then come back.
Number 5.
Oh, and before I forget to mention it, we'll also overwrite your manual save file and, of course, remove your autosave. And in case your save file gets corrupted, you're on your own. That's not my problem. I also feel really bad for all the people I heard about that lost their save games due to this totally stupid way of handling save files.
Number 4.
The notice board? Oh, the notice board. The notice board. The notice board. The notice board. Oh, the notice board. 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 Yeah, those were the emotions I went through while using the notice board in the game. Firstly, it almost doesn't matter how good your snapshot is if you upload it at the wrong time. It will simply disappear into oblivion. It took me a few weeks to find out which is the best time to upload. Here's the general rule of thumb. Upload it when people of the country that play this game the most come back home from work. This should work out the best in the end. But this problem wouldn't exist if all snapshots were given a percentage score. Like, for example, 200 people have seen it and 100 of those 200 liked it. So it gets a score of 50%. This way it doesn't matter when you upload it and it will be totally fair. Then there's even no search or keyword function. I mean, you have the hashtags, but have fun looking for that one picture you saw 2 days ago. Well, if you didn't make a screenshot of it. Of course, it is absolutely no problem for someone to visit a gorgeously built island and snap a photo and upload it as his own. Someone already won place number 3 in the last contest with this kind of behavior. And one guy even tried to do it with my island as well. That's why I tried to talk to Square Enix about it in my kind of way. Also, the photos you can like or upload are very limited. But that's what we'll talk about now.
Number 3.
Limits. Limits everywhere. So you are telling me I can hang up picture frames, but I'm only allowed to have 10 of those to display pictures? But of course I can put up 200 or more notice boards that are displaying even 3 pictures at once. That sounds reasonable. The magnetic blocks are also strictly limited, but I already talked about that. And of course villagers have their own area which can't be expanded. There are so much more things where the limits inside this game are just frustrating and not fun at all.
Number 2.
Hey, let's put the 2 most used functions in the game on the same button. Ooh, that's a great idea.
I believe everyone is really fed up with that. Imagine building something and there's some special person following you around like a stalker. And now you want to change your tool. Nope. Melroth wants to talk with you and give you a high five. This is especially frustrating because 80% of the story part he will follow you around and there's nothing you can do about it. Also, when you're inside a room and there are some beds or chests around you, before you're able to change your tool, you will go to bed 5 times and open the chest a dozen of times before you can do that. But enough of that. So, you thought this would be number 1? No. Number 1 is by far more annoying than this one. But before we continue, here are some honorable mentions. Those have been selected by my loyal Discord members. So thank you very much, guys and ladies, for pointing out some other annoying things.
Honorable mentions.
They just blatantly removed accessories from the game and gave us nothing in return. I mean, look at all those nice things we had in Dragon Quest Builders 1. What a shame. If there's one annoying resident we can all agree upon, it's Lulu and her dream of Lulutopia. Without even asking us. Keep on dreaming, Lulu. Chained blocks are a pain in the butt to work with sometimes. Especially when you want to make window ornaments or nice looking roofs. Parts of the story were pretty boring and felt uninspired. I'm looking at you, Moonbrook and Skalcatraz. And now we've come to the thing I hate the most about Dragon Quest Builders 2. Drum roll, please.
Number 1.
If there's one thing I've come across the most in this game, it's the fact that it feels like they left things out of the game on purpose. Almost everything feels like it comes with a big but. I like big butts that I cannot lie. I don't like this but. Here are a few examples. You get a building height of 100 blocks, but we'll remove double jump. We'll give you dice to color items with, but you won't get the most common ones like gray and brown dice. You will get the chisel, but you can't use it at the underside of blocks. Now you can finally build underwater, but you'll be slow as frick. Okay, they gave us buff food, which we had to pay for, so this seems fair. You get a whole island to build on, but the villagers will only live in a small part of it. Why don't they just interact with everything everywhere? We'll give you the builder's pencil to copy and create stuff, but we won't give you a function to also erase stuff with it. Dear developers, most pencils have an eraser. Imagine that. I mean, we had the summoning stone to erase stuff in Dragon Quest Builders 1. Now you have an ocarina to find stuff, but you can't find anything with it in the endgame. I mean, you could just hover above an item and the ocarina could have pointed to the nearest of those items. You can create walls with the trowel, but of course you can create new floor blocks with it. Also, we'll limit it to a measly 5x5 range. And those are only a few examples. I could give you at least 50 more. You know what it feels like? It feels like this old joke where some guy got his wish granted by a genie, but in a twisted way. Oh, genie, I wish that all women want me. The genie granted his wish. But now, the only thing this guy feels attracted to are men. So, enough ranting. I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. Please let me know in the comments what you don't like or even hate about Dragon Quest Builders 2. Until next time, but I hope you'll have a nice day, morning or evening, and maybe even a lovely night. See you soon in the next video. Bye! Also make sure to have at least 1 hour time on Saturday or Sunday.